opened up, or has just passed open carry law set to take effect here real shortly. Sorry, and I know a lot of people in Mississippi, and a lot of them are. Some of them are up in the air about open carry. Some of them are like, no, open carry is good. What do you guys feel about open carry? Should everybody be able to open carry? Should everybody be allowed to conceal carry without a permit? Or which way you guys look at it?
I don't have a problem with it as long as you have a background check. I think everyone needs to have a background check prior to even being allowed to have an open carry.
Like background check to even buy the gun. I'm kind of. I'm a big proponent of training. If you don't know how to use it, it's useless.
Exactly.
And it's more dangerous to people if you don't know what you're doing with it. But
I'm kind of a fan of open carry. I don't myself, but I kind of feel like the more people open carry, the safer it is for other people to open carry. But open carry is one of those big reasons I think that in a way almost compensates for or goes hand in hand with states that have a lot laxer laws about training requirements because you can see the people who have a gun. And if you're carrying a gun, you know, I don't mean, you know that if one of them is going to do something stupid with their gun, you have one too.
Yes.
If that makes sense. And you can, and so I'm a fan of that, not as a personal choice, but as an option, because I really do like open carry. Just for one, it's more convenient, but for two, it just sends a message, and I think it's important to have something that sends a message just of being common and being more mainstream, and not something that has to stay hidden so people don't freak out.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's not always the best tactical choice, but I think it's a good, it's a good choice to have.
I think so too. I'm with you on that.
Travis, weigh in. Come on, Travis.
I'm good for either open carry or concealed carry because I feel that given the situation you're going into, you may want to have the gun visibly available, or you may want people not to know you have it. I'm a concealed carry every day. I have a Springfield XD 5-inch barrel 40 caliber pistol I always have on me. Now, when it comes in terms to background checks, that's where I get skiffy because obviously I believe people, convicted of, say, violent crimes, things of that nature, domestic disputes, child abuse, whatever, I don't think they should quite be able to without showing that they've moved past that part in their life. But at the same time, when they start adding mental disorders, say PTSD, into those same categories is where it really starts to get sketchy.
Right.
Absolutely. I got to be with you right there on that one, too. Yep. So I don't know, maybe it's kind of I don't want to say
it's a bit of a catch, but it is a catch-22.
It is. It definitely is.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like, it's hard because you want to be as safe as possible without infringing on anybody's rights. And to me, having laws that enable, if you make a mistake, which direction do you want it to be in? And if you make a mistake by granting it to too many people, but then you have a lot of people who can stop the ones who would be misusing it.
That's kind of how I feel. I mean, think about it. You got one madman standing in the middle of a room with 20 people that are armed.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
You'll be lucky to get one shot off.
Maybe. People see the gun and that'll be all she wrote. But that's going to lead into our next little topic and I think I'll let Travis go with it because it was his pretty good topic idea of the shoot-through situation.
Exactly. Over-penetration. You see a lot of advertisements, especially in gun magazines, things like that, for the bigger, stronger, more powerful round. But what you don't see are the outlining effects. With the economy the way it is, people are selling houses. They're moving into condos, apartments, hotels even in some situations. And I think a big issue that's probably not being addressed is when to shoot and when not to shoot. And having the discipline of knowing when you're going to hit your target and what you're hitting him with. Like if I have my AR-15 with my penetrator rounds and I live in an apartment complex, I have enough common sense and training to know I'm not going to start firing that thing off.
Right.
But I was trying to do research looking for some of those safer rounds. It was kind of finding a lot of inconsistent data, a lot of inconsistent results, as well as public opinion. So given everybody's background in here in weapons, was wondering if we could come up with something for our listeners, a good home defense round that's going to put a target down but isn't going to blow through that target, or if you happen to miss at 3 o'clock in the morning and somebody's kicking your door in, you don't have to worry about that round going into your neighbor's bedroom, bathroom, wherever.
I think that's a tough one, though, because it really depends so much, too, on the user and what the user can comfortably handle.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, when I get, older women with arthritis in their hands, there's going to be different recommendations than for example, what I have or what my husband has, because we're both big semi-automatic fans, and that's going to be different.
Now, I heard there's a round out there that is, I guess it's classified as an air defense round. It's a round similar to what the Marshals use on the airplanes. If it hits anything harder than itself, regardless of its velocity, it breaks down.
Yeah, that clay round.
I'm wondering, do they make those in all calibers? Is that something that's going to be substantial enough to, say, drop somebody and not worry about?
I wouldn't think that, because I would think that the trade-off there is that anybody who's going to, for example, come in to an airplane, as a trained, armed response team, is going to be highly enough trained that they have the confidence they can put that shot in the right spot, and so that they can go with the rounds that wouldn't be so effective for just, most people, because they have the skill to make it work without endangering others. But does that necessarily translate to most civilians?
Exactly, and that's where I was starting to draw the question mark.
Right.
Here's where I'm standing on this. I have my own house. I don't have an apartment, but I know where every bed in the house sits. How high it is, where it sits. I've been in and out of this house, in and out of every room thousands of times. I know the height of the bed, where they're sitting, where everybody would be at, say it's midnight. I know where they're at. I know that if I shoot, upper chest head towards an assailant inside the house, I am not going to hit anybody else in my house. But I also know where the beds are sitting. So I know that if I come around, say, corner A, and my daughter's door is there, I'm going to hold off until either I get to move or the assailant gets to move out of that way. Because if he crosses in front of my son's door, my son's bed sits 5 foot off the ground. I built him a giant platform bed. So I know as long as he gets in front of my son's door, I'll be able to shoot. If he gets in front of my other daughter's door, I'll be able to shoot, because the beds are against the walls, the opposite walls of the doors. So it's I guess it's a lot of knowing where everybody is in your house, where everybody sits, where everybody sleeps. I guess a lot of situational awareness.
Yeah,
exactly,
definitely.
Which is something I think is really seriously lacking in our real-world society. There are a lot of people out there that have the guns that maybe don't have the training they should have giving on their living situations.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's where people really want a simple answer. What's the best gun for me? What's the best caliber for me? What's the best round for self-defense? And there is no answer, because, like Jay said, it's going to depend so much on your house setup. I have a log home, and my kids are all upstairs. I have no doubt that using a good, hollow point is not going to be a problem, because my intent is going to be keeping people from going upstairs, and I'm going to be shooting towards the down. I can go up the stairs and be shooting downwards, so I don't have that concern. But somebody who's in a matchstick house or a condo, I would even, recommend sometimes one of those guns like the Judge that has a .410 round you can put in there, because a .410 round you can, you don't have to have as much accuracy, and it's going to stick even in drywall.
I don't know if it's going to stick. I don't know if it's going to stick in drywall. That's 9 357 Magnum round size balls coming out of that thing.
Yeah, but if you count drywall, insulation, support beams supported by drywall on the other side, you might have a better shot than somebody firing that heavy penetrator round.
Right, and you don't have to put a heavy penetrator. You can put, the different, you can choose the right shells for it.
Yeah.
But, but what I'm saying is that, it's definitely something where that's going to be more of a better, probably a choice than, than a hollow point that's going to potentially, than a hollow point in a 45, for example.
Yeah, I use the Hornady personal defense rounds in my sidearm that sits next to my bed. But as Jay, said himself, I know where all the beds are, where all the doors are, where all the entry and non-entry to the house is. But unfortunately, being a gun owner that I am, I have to unfortunately say that knowledge isn't exactly widespread.
And what if you travel? What if you travel and you're staying in a motel?
Well, I carry the same round myself because I know
that's what I mean. It's like your situational awareness is going to necessarily have to adapt.
Exactly.
Well, the good news about a hotel, if you ever sleep in a hotel, all the beds are in the same place in every room. So you know that if there's a person in the other room, there's 9 times out of 10 if you catch that dude coming in the door and you shoot towards shoot them as they're coming in or they're trying to assail you from the door, the way you're shooting, it's going to go through them and possibly through the corner, the door jamb, and then out in the parking lot. And
right.
Pistol rounds after you've done shot person and then a door frame or a wall, they're not traveling very far.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have that personal experience of shooting somebody in a hotel, but still, it's going full velocity here. I know how rounds react at a person, and they don't. The bullet itself doesn't typically go very far afterwards. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's when you talk about situational awareness, I think that was my point, was just sometimes, you have to update it because it's not just about a home intruder. It could be, you're out and about.
Mugger or carjacker or something like that.
Exactly. I had a relative who had people approach her and try to mug her and it was at a rest stop. And she pulled her gun, and luckily, that was enough to make them go away. But she told me later one of her thoughts was she knew that there was a baby in a stroller about 20 yards, farther on, where the assailants had come up on her, and it flashed through her head about, I don't really know, I couldn't shoot right now because I know that there's a baby in a stroller just beyond them.
Yeah, and that's...
So being able to factor in, well, what's around me at this moment, whether you're home or traveling or in a car or outdoors. You can't just have situational awareness and say, okay, we're good. You have to constantly maintain that and update that and make your decisions accordingly.
Yeah. There's different techniques if you're out and about and you get assailed to position yourself to be able to inflict maximum damage on the assailant without inflicting any damage on those around you. But say, we'll take the Walmart shooting situation that just happened down in North Carolina. And if one person had a gun, from what I was reading, he entered the doorway and started opening up. And there was little to no people behind him because I saw him come with a gun and left. If somebody had been there to meet him and shooting out towards the parking lot, chances are pretty good they wouldn't have inflicted any, unintended casualties.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And that would really be...
Lately, I've done a lot of travel across the country. I've actually noticed a lot of step up in armed security along truck stops, rest areas, things of that nature as well.
Yeah, and I think that kind of ties back into how important training is.
Yes.
Because you don't, Most people, you get a gun, you go through a class, but you're not getting all the information.